The anonymous email arrives 2 weeks before Christmas. I glance at my phone as it buzzes against the scratched laminate of my kitchen counter. Unknown sender. Subject line: They're using you. My finger hovers over the delete button, probably just spam, but something pulls me back. Call it instinct. Call it 32 years of waiting for the other shoe to drop. I tap it open. No message, just a single video attachment. I click play. The screen fills with my parents' living room, the house I'm still paying the mortgage on. The camera angle is slightly crooked, as if someone's recording discreetly. My father, Gideon, lounges in his leather recliner, the one I bought him last Father's Day. My mother, Meryl, perches on the arm of the sofa, wine glass dangling between manicured fingers. And there's my brother, Corbin, sprawled across the couch like he owns it, though at 25, he hasn't paid for a single thing in his life. They're laughing. Not the polite chuckles they offer at my jokes during our weekly dinners, but real, uninhibited laughter. She's so practical. My mother scoffs, rolling the word practical around her mouth like it's something bitter. She's really planning to make us eat her dry turkey on Christmas Eve. Corbin bursts out laughing, nearly spilling his wine. Seriously, she has zero taste. He gestures broadly at the room. Remember that awful painting she bought for the entryway? God. My stomach tightens. That painting cost $300, money I'd saved for a new winter coat. Dad raises his glass, his voice dropping to a conspiratorial tone. A toast to Rosie's bonus. Can't wait for Aspen. Aspen? What Aspen trip? But it's Corbin's next line that stops my heart. He lifts his glass, smirking. Just as long as the workhorse keeps pulling. The screen blurs as a rush of heat floods my face. Workhorse. The room spins, and suddenly I'm not here anymore. I'm 25 years old again, sitting at my old desk, staring at my laptop screen with burning eyes. My finger hovers over the cancel button on a booking confirmation for a trip to Italy. A trip I've saved for over a year, pinching pennies, bringing leftovers for lunch, taking extra shifts. My phone lights up. Mom calling. Rosie? Her voice is tight with panic. Corbin wrecked another car. The insurance won't cover it. We don't know what to do. I look at the Italy confirmation page. 14 days exploring Tuscany. A dream postponed from college, from my first job, from every other time something more important came up. How much do you need? I hear myself ask. $5,000. My entire Italy fund, gone in a single bank transfer. You're the only one we can count on, Rosie, Mom had said. What would we do without you? The memory fractures as I snap back to the present. The video continues playing. They're discussing their Christmas lists now, what they expect from me. A new watch for Dad, some designer purse for Mom. Corbin wants a high-end sound system for his studio. And suddenly, the pain isn't dull and familiar. It isn't the resigned ache I've carried for years. It's a cold, clear, liberating rage that straightens my spine and clears my vision. I look around my small rental apartment, really look at it. The worn furniture I've kept because it still works fine. The bare walls because decorating is an unnecessary expense. The tiny kitchen with appliances from the 90 seconds. A cage I built for myself, brick by brick, sacrifice by sacrifice. My phone buzzes again, a text from Mom. Don't forget to pick up that nice bourbon your father likes for Christmas Eve dinner. I place the phone face down on the counter. My hands aren't shaking anymore. This, I whisper to the empty apartment, is the end. The words hang in the still air. Not a melodramatic promise, not an empty threat, just a simple, inescapable truth. For 7 years, I've been the family ATM, the dutiful daughter, the responsible one, the workhorse, no more. I pick up my phone again and watch the video one more time. Each laugh, each dismissive comment, each casual cruelty carving away the chains of obligation I've wrapped around myself. I notice a detail I missed, a glint of a ring on a hand briefly visible at the edge of the frame. Whoever recorded this was in the room with them, watching this happen, and decided I deserved to know. I don't recognize the hand, but I silently thank its owner. Some betrayals are a gift. I stand up straight, walk to my laptop, and open my bank account. The annual bonus notification blinks at me from the screen. 6 figures, the money my family is already spending in their minds. For the first time in my adult life, I smile at my bank balance and think, mine. Not their house payment, not Corbin's next mistake, Not my parents' vacation, mine. I take a deep breath and begin to type. It's time to make some changes. The rage gives way to clarity. I watch the video again, focusing this time not on the mockery but on the details. My finger hovers over the screen, rewinding to catch what I missed. There, Corbin, lounging with his feet up on Mom's coffee table, the one I helped her pick out last year. She just gave me $1,000 for art supplies last week. He brags, making air quotes with his fingers. I used it to buy this 8K TV. He gestures toward something off camera with a smug grin. Dad laughs, tipping back his bourbon. Now that's art. My stomach knots. That $1,000 was from my last paycheck, money I'd sent when Corbin called, claiming he needed supplies for a gallery showing that would finally get his career started. I'd skipped lunch for 2 weeks to make up the difference in my budget. This isn't just emotional betrayal, it's fraud. Plain and simple theft. I set my phone down on the kitchen counter, hands steady now. The kitchen clock ticks loudly in the silence of my apartment. 11:42 p.m. The night feels different, sharper somehow, like someone cranked up the resolution on my life. Mom's face fills my mind, not the cruel, wine-flushed woman from the video, but the tearful, pleading mother who'd called last month about Gideon's emergency dental work. $2,000. Insurance won't cover it, Rosie. You know your father's too proud to ask. I'd transferred the money immediately, no questions asked. Now I understand. There are two antagonists here, not just one. Meryl, the emotional manipulator who knows exactly which guilt buttons to push, and Gideon, the entitled patriarch who's never held a job longer than 3 years, but somehow deserves a $50,000 truck. Corbin's just the accomplice, the spoiled youngest taking his cues from the masters. The stakes are clear too. My annual bonus, $127,000 this year, lands in my account in 10 days. They're already planning how to spend it on their Aspen trip. My money, my life. End. That familiar guilt, the voice that whispers family comes first, tries to surface but dies quickly. The cozy Christmas Eve dinner I'd been planning, the prime rib I'd already ordered from the butcher, the gifts wrapped and hidden in my closet, it all seems pathetic now. The elaborate ritual of a woman desperate for scraps of approval. My laptop glows from the coffee table. I walk over, pull up my calendar, and dial my boss's cell. It's late, but Diane always answers. Rosalie, everything okay? Her voice is alert despite the hour. I need to take my PTO, I say, surprised by the steadiness in my voice. All 3 weeks, starting tomorrow. A pause. The Kessler account. I closed it this afternoon. The paperwork's done. A $1.2 million deal, my biggest of the quarter. Are you sick? Family emergency? The concern in her voice almost makes me laugh. I just need some time, I tell her. I'll be back for the quarterly meeting. Okay then, she says slowly. You've earned it. I'll process it first thing tomorrow. Thank you. I hang up, already opening a new browser tab. 20 minutes later, I have a first-class ticket to Jackson Hole, Wyoming, leaving at 10 a.m. The Amangani Resort confirms my reservation moments after that, a suite with a view of the Tetons and a heated infinity pool. Next comes the digital lockdown. I log into my bank account, navigate to the automatic payments section, and systematically cancel each one. $2,500 for my parents' mortgage, $700 for Gideon's truck payment, $500 for Meryl's country club dues, and Corbin's $1,000 monthly allowance. The confirmation screens bring a satisfaction I've never felt before. I change every password: bank, email, social media, Amazon, and enable 2-factor authentication on each account. My phone buzzes with verification codes as I methodically secure my digital life. An email to building management takes only seconds to compose. Due to security concerns, please rekey my apartment, 12B, immediately. I'll cover any associated costs. I hit send without hesitation. The clock reads 1:27 a.m. when I make the final call to Elite Catering, where I'd placed a $1,800 order for Christmas Eve dinner. This is Rosalie Prescott, I say when their after-hours service answers. I need to change the delivery address for my December 24th order. Of course, Miss Prescott. What's the new address? I smile for the first time in hours. Fire Station #5 on Madison Avenue. It's a donation. Please include a note. Happy holidays to our local heroes. That's very generous. the woman says. We'll take care of it. Thank you, I say, and end the call. I walk to my bedroom window and look out at the city lights. For 7 years, I've poured my life into a bottomless pit of need, believing that sacrifice meant love. The memory of being called a workhorse should hurt, but instead, it feels like being cut free from a heavy weight. My phone buzzes with a text from Mom. Don't forget we need that check for the roof repair by Friday. Love you. I don't reply. Instead, I silence my phone, place it on the nightstand, and begin to pack for Wyoming. In the morning, I'll be gone. The first flight of my life that isn't for work or family obligation, just for me. My family will discover what happens when the workhorse breaks free. And I'll be watching from 1,500 miles away, sipping champagne in first class. Around 7 a.m., I fold my last cashmere sweater, the one I bought on clearance 3 years ago, and tuck it into my suitcase. The zipper glides smoothly around the perimeter, sealing in my small act of rebellion. 3 weeks at the Amangani in Jackson Hole won't be cheap, but for once, I'm not calculating the cost against anyone else's needs, just mine. My phone vibrates against the nightstand, dancing across the surface like an angry wasp. Gideon's name flashes on the screen. I stare at it for 3 full rings before picking up. Hello? I keep my voice neutral, my fingers still resting on the closed suitcase. Rosalie. My father's voice is a thunderclap. The dealership just called. The truck payment was declined. What the hell did you do? Fix it, now. The old Rosalie would have scrambled to her laptop, apologizing profusely while frantically transferring funds. That Rosalie died watching a video 2 days ago. That's weird, Dad. My voice is flat, emotionless. Must be a bank error. I'm walking into a meeting. I'll check on it later. Later? This is serious. They're threatening to report it to... Gotta go. I hang up before he can respond. The silence that follows feels like victory, small but unmistakable. 7 years of jumping at his commands, erased with 2 little words. Gotta go. My thumb hovers over the screen for a moment before sliding the phone to Do Not Disturb. No more interruptions, no more emergencies, no more guilt. I grab the handle of my suitcase, lift it from the bed, and walk out the door without looking back. The airport is a blur of muted holiday decorations and harried travelers. I move through security with practiced efficiency, my mind already in Wyoming. The first-class lounge offers a moment of quiet reflection before boarding. I sip a glass of champagne and watch the planes taxi across the tarmac, each one carrying people toward or away from their own private battlefields. By nightfall, I'm stretched out on a king-sized bed at the Amangani, the Grand Tetons, a majestic silhouette against the darkening sky. For the first time in years, no one knows exactly where I am. No one is counting on me for anything. The freedom is dizzying. The days blend together in a haze of spa treatments, gourmet meals, and long naps. I take a snowshoeing tour. I read books I've been meaning to start for years. I sit in front of the fireplace in my suite and watch the snow fall on the mountains. And I wait. Christmas Eve arrives with a fresh coating of snow across the landscape. The resort is decked out in tasteful holiday splendor, elegant pine garlands, subtle twinkling lights, the scent of cinnamon and spruce hanging in the air. I spend the afternoon in the heated infinity pool, steam rising around me as snowflakes dissolve on contact with the water's surface. The contrast between hot and cold, between the sheltered pool and the wild landscape beyond, feels like a metaphor for my life, the before and after of the video. At precisely 6 p.m., when I should be serving the Christmas Eve dinner I'd planned, my phone explodes with notifications. I've turned it back on for the first time in days, but only to witness, not to engage. The texts roll in rapid fire. From Meryl, where are you? From Corbin, Mom's freaking out. From Gideon, the door is locked. From Meryl, we're standing outside your apartment. From Gideon, this isn't funny. I take a sip of my mulled wine and open the Ring camera app. There they are, huddled on my apartment landing like confused tourists who've shown up at a closed attraction. Meryl in her cashmere coat, the one I bought her last Christmas. Gideon stomping his feet against the cold, his face a storm cloud. Corbin leaning against the railing, checking his phone, probably texting me for the 10th time. I watch as confusion morphs into frustration, then anger. Meryl rings the doorbell repeatedly, as if persistence might magically produce me. Gideon pounds on the door. his shoulders hunched with righteous indignation. Corbin paces, tossing occasional glances at the package by the door. My catering order notification, redirected to fire station #5. Where the hell is she? Gideon barks, his breath clouding in the December air. I've called her 12 times. Meryl's voice rises to a pitch I recognize, the one she uses when she's about to deploy the emotional nuclear option. What if something happened to her? Nothing happened to her, Corbin mutters, kicking at the welcome mat. She's ignoring us. She wouldn't dare, Gideon says, but uncertainty creeps into his voice. I tap the screen to zoom in. This is better than any Christmas movie. I could be watching the real-time collapse of their entitlement. I record snippets as they argue amongst themselves, as Meryl calls the hospitals with fake tears in her voice, as Gideon threatens to call the landlord, as Corbin slumps to the floor, complaining about missing dinner with his friends. For a full hour, I watch them unravel, documenting each phase of their meltdown. The landlord doesn't answer. The hospitals have no record of me. The neighbors don't know where I am. Their carefully constructed world of convenience with me at its center, holding everything up, is crumbling before my eyes. Finally, when their rage has peaked and begun to flag into bewilderment, I open our family group chat. I hesitate only a moment before uploading the original video, the one that started it all. The one of them laughing about me, mocking my turkey, planning their Aspen trip on my bonus, the one where Corbin calls me the workhorse. I follow it with a text. Heard you wanted to go to Aspen. Hope this video is entertaining. P.S. All auto payments were stopped 2 weeks ago. Good luck. I watch their faces on the Ring camera as their phones chime simultaneously. Meryl opens hers first, her expression changing as she registers what she's seeing. Gideon leans over her shoulder, his face draining of color. Corbin steps back, a guilty flush climbing his neck. Who sent her this? Gideon hisses, looking around as if the culprit might be hiding in the hallway. She can't just... Meryl begins, but her voice fails her. Corbin stares at his phone, then at the locked door, comprehension dawning slow and terrible across his face. She's gone. She's gone. The 3 words hang in the December air like an epitaph. She's gone. Not just physically absent, but gone from their grasp, from their control. The workhorse has broken free. I take one last look at their stunned faces, memorizing this moment of perfect clarity. Then I power my phone off completely, set it on the nightstand, and pick up the room service menu. For the first time in my adult life, I'm spending Christmas exactly where and how I want to, and it tastes like freedom. 2 days after Christmas, I returned back to my apartment. 10 days after Christmas, the key feels heavier in my palm than it should. Just a small piece of metal, but it represents everything. Safety, boundaries, a life reclaimed. Here you are, Miss Prescott. All done, the leasing agent says, sliding the paperwork across her desk. Your apartment has been completely rekeyed as requested. I pocket the new key and sign where indicated. My phone buzzes in my purse, the 44th missed call, since I returned from Wyoming this morning. I haven't listened to a single voicemail or read any of the texts that accumulated during my 3-week absence. Instead, I've been systematically deleting them, one by one, like pulling weeds from a garden I'm finally tending. Is everything all right? The agent asks, noticing my momentary distraction. Everything is perfect, I answer, and for the first time in years, I mean it. Outside, the final December sun glints off windshields in the parking lot, cold but clarifying. The vacation gave me distance, perspective. Watching their Christmas Eve meltdown from the heated infinity pool at the Amangani felt like watching strangers through glass, fascinating but removed. Their panic when they realized the money faucet had been turned off wasn't my problem anymore. I climbed into my car and headed to work, where my boss welcomed me back with a simple nod. No questions about my sudden vacation, just respect for my boundaries. The kind of respect I should have demanded years ago. For 10 days straight, the phone stays in do not disturb mode. I focus on work, exceeding my targets before the month is over. I sleep better. I browse furniture websites, considering what might look good in a real home someday, not the cramped apartment I've accepted as my lot in life. Then, exactly tossed weeks after my return, they make their first calculated move. I'm walking to my car in the underground garage when a voice calls out, "Rosalie?" I turn to see Aunt Jessica, my mother's sister, stepping from behind a concrete pillar. Her Burberry coat and perfectly coiffed silver hair seem out of place in the dim fluorescent lighting. Her presence is no accident. This is a carefully orchestrated ambush. Aunt Jessica. I keep my voice neutral. This is unexpected. She approaches, hands clasped at her chest, concern etched into her surgically tightened face. Oh, Rosalie, your mother is absolutely devastated. She hasn't slept in weeks. I say nothing, just stand there, keys in hand. The family is falling apart, Jessica continues, her voice dropping to a practiced whisper. Your father's truck was repossessed. They might lose the house. And Corbin, she pauses dramatically. He's talking about moving back in with them because he can't afford his rent. The old me would have crumbled under the weight of this guilt trip. The old me would have apologized, promised to fix everything, drained my accounts to soothe their manufactured crisis. Instead, I look my aunt directly in the eye and see what I've missed all these years. The calculation behind the concern. The manipulation beneath the worry. This isn't love. It's a sophisticated hostage negotiation, and I've been the only one paying ransoms. Rosalie. Jessica steps closer, touching my arm. You need to be the bigger person here. Family is everything. You need to fix this. I gently remove her hand from my arm. Thank you for your concern, Aunt Jessica. I understand this must be difficult for everyone. This is a private matter, and it is handled. Her eyes widen. She expected tears, apologies, promises to call Mom right away. But I hope you have a wonderful day. I unlock my car, slide inside, and close the door with a soft click. Through the window, I watch Jessica's shocked expression as I drive away. She'll report back to Meryl, of course. My mother will dissect every word, searching for weaknesses to exploit. My refusal to engage will be interpreted as a challenge rather than a boundary. The next attack comes 3 days later. I'm in a meeting with our marketing team when my desk phone lights up. Linda, our receptionist, rarely interrupts meetings. I'm sorry, the coffee shop bustles with mid-morning energy, but Marina sits perfectly still across from me, her fingers tracing the rim of an untouched latte. 3 months have passed since Christmas Eve, and this is our first face-to-face meeting. The woman who changed my life with a single video file. I couldn't stay silent. Marina explains, her voice soft but steady. I was washing my hands and came out of the bathroom when I heard your mom say, Rosalie is the easiest one to control. Then they all laughed. She looks up, brown eyes clear with conviction. I was disgusted by the cruelty, so I took out my phone and recorded. I nod, studying her. She's prettier than Corbin deserves intelligent eyes, no nonsense posture. I search for pity in her expression and find none. Just clarity. I broke up with him right after, she continues, stirring her coffee without drinking it. I realized he's just like them, a user. You deserve to know the truth. The words hang between us, and I feel a weight lift that I didn't realize was still there. Someone else saw it. Someone else thought it was wrong. My family's toxicity wasn't just my perception, it was real enough that a relative stranger risked drama to expose it. Thank you, I say simply. You changed everything. Marina shrugs one shoulder. You would have figured it out eventually. Maybe. But who knows how many more years I would have wasted. I take a sip of my Americano. What made you send it when you did? Corbin asked me what I was getting you for Christmas. Her mouth twists. He said not to waste money on anything expensive because you'd never notice anyway. Said you were too busy playing martyr. My laugh surprises us both. What did you tell him? I ask. I told him I'd already got you something priceless. Marina smiles for the first time. Turns out I was right. On the drive home, I take a detour. The morning sun glints off the ornate sign reading, Oakwood Estates, a gated community on the north side of town. I slow down as I pass the sales office, my heart quickening as I scan the security features, the tall, wrought iron fence, the state-of-the-art call box, the roving security patrol. The trap I've been setting isn't the kind my family would expect. It isn't revenge served hot. It's freedom, security, and distance served with complete financial independence. With an extra $4,000 a month now in my bank account, including the $2,500 mortgage payment I no longer make on their house. I've quietly secured a mortgage on a 4-bedroom home with a garden, a security system, And most importantly, a gate between me and them. A week later, my phone buzzes. Marina again. A screenshot of Corbin's Instagram post from last night. The image is pathetic. All three Prescotts, Gideon, Meryl, and Corbin, crammed onto a stained sofa in what must be Corbin's dingy apartment. My father's face is strained, his early retirement, now looking more like unemployment. My mother's perfectly maintained hair has lost its luster, and Corbin looks like he hasn't slept in days. But it's the caption that makes me pull over to the shoulder of the road. No matter what happens, family is everything. Enjoying a cozy night in. Family first, blessed. Marina's text follows. Look at this hypocrisy. They're trying to play the victim. I stare at the photo again, the cramped space, the tension in their postures, the fake smiles that don't reach their eyes, the desperate attempt to project happiness while their world collapses around them. 3 months without their workhorse, and this is what remains. I don't feel the satisfaction I expected, just a hollow recognition of what was always beneath the surface. A family built on extraction, not love. Without someone to drain, they're lost. Thanks for sending this. I text back to Marina. Would you like to come to a housewarming party after I prepare everything? Nothing fancy, just a small dinner. I will let you know the exact date later. I don't wait for her response before pulling back onto the road toward the real estate office. The papers are ready for my signature. A month after moving into my new house, the notification pops up on my phone while I'm unpacking kitchen boxes. The high-tech gate camera shows a familiar figure standing at the call box, her finger pressing the button repeatedly. My mother's face is streaked with tears, her hair wild in the spring wind. Rosalie, please. Her voice cracks through the speaker system. Your father. He's sick. We need you. A year ago, those words would have sent me racing for my car keys and checkbook. 6 months ago, I would have felt a twinge of doubt. Today, sitting in my sunlit kitchen surrounded by boxes of new dishes I chose for myself, I feel nothing. I watched Meryl's performance for a few moments. The theatrical sobs. The mascara she carefully smudged beneath her eyes. The conveniently vague emergency. It's the maximum pressure move in her arsenal. Even at a distance, I can see the lie. Dad isn't sick. This is desperation, not emergency. The workhorse is now the gatekeeper. The script is flipped. 7 years of manipulation crashes against a simple electronic barrier, and my newfound immunity to guilt. My finger hovers over the intercom button. What would I even say? What could possibly bridge the gap between us now? A part of me, small and fading, still wants to believe there's something worth saving. But when I think of Marina's words, of the laughter in that video, of Rosalie is the easiest one to control, I know there's nothing left to say. I tap the dismiss button on the notification. The feed cuts out. In the silence of my new kitchen, I unpack a set of wine glasses I bought the day before. Beautiful, unnecessary things I'd never have allowed myself to own in my old life. I set them carefully in the cabinet, arranging them just so, taking my time. The sound of a car engine starting and fading away drifts through my open window. She's gone. I open a bottle of Chianti I've been saving and pour myself a glass. The ruby liquid catches the afternoon sun as I raise it in a silent toast to the woman I've become, to boundaries that hold, to freedom hard-won, to a life that is finally, completely mine. When my phone buzzes again, it's not the gate camera, it's Marina. I am glad you kept the boundaries. They don't deserve you at all. I smile and type, thank you for everything. See you soon. The feeling of freedom has never been better. I arrange the mosaic vase on my new entryway table, stepping back to admire the burst of color against the cream walls. 3 months in this house, and I'm still discovering new corners to fill, new ways to make it mine. The vase is ridiculously expensive, impractical, and exactly what I wanted. No one had to approve the purchase. No one questioned whether a decorative object was worth it. The freedom still feels like a foreign language I'm learning to speak fluently. A painting hangs above the table, abstract splashes of crimson and gold that reminded me of Italian sunsets. Another indulgence. Another declaration. My phone pings with a reminder. Book Italy. I smile, walking through the living room where no furniture bears water rings or mysterious stains. Everything here was chosen by me. For me. A visible record of my new priorities. In my home office, not a converted closet like in the old apartment, but a real room with tall windows and bookshelves. I settle into my leather chair. My laptop waits on the desk, open to a travel site. First-class tickets to Rome, a month-long itinerary through Tuscany, the Amalfi Coast, Venice. The trip I canceled 7 years ago to bail out Corbin. The cursor hovers over the purchase button. The total makes me blink, nearly triple what I'd budgeted back then. But now, there's no flicker of hesitation, no mental calculation of what else that money could fix, or who else it could help. I click, purchase. The confirmation appears, and I feel nothing but satisfaction. No guilt, no worries, no imaginary balance sheet where my needs always registered in red. The doorbell chimes, pulling me from my thoughts. Through the security camera feed, I spot Marina on my porch, holding a bottle of wine. "You're officially the first guest to use the front door instead of the gate intercom," I tell her, swinging the door open. Marina laughs, handing me the wine. Historic moment. Should we take a picture? I usher her inside, watching her eyes widen in space. "This is gorgeous, Rosalie. It feels like you." That's the best compliment. I led her to the kitchen where dinner waits, a meal I cooked because I wanted to, not because I owed anyone anything. Over pasta and wine, we talked about everything except my family. Not because they're taboo, but because they're irrelevant. When Marina finally brings up Corbin, "He asked about you again." I find I can listen without that old twist in my stomach. "He'll figure it out eventually," I say, refilling our glasses. "Or he won't. Either way, it's not my problem anymore." 2 weeks later, I'm at my desk reviewing quarterly numbers when Jenna, our newest sales rep, drops into the chair across from me. Her face bears the tight, pinched look I recognize from my own mirror, years ago. "Everything all right?" I ask, though I already know it isn't. "My sister's kid needs braces," she sighs. $5,000. She asked if I could help since I make so much money now. Her fingers form bitter air quotes. "And you're considering it," I say. Not a question. She's family, and my nephew is a good kid, and... I lean forward, cutting her off. "Let me give you some advice. Don't ever set yourself on fire just to keep someone else warm. Your value is non-negotiable." Her eyes widened slightly. "Trust me," I add. "I've been the human torch. The scars take years to heal." The morning of my flight to Italy, I stood in my bedroom, zipping my suitcase closed. Everything I need, nothing I don't. The simplicity feels luxurious. I carry the suitcase downstairs, through the house that belongs only to me. At the front door, I pause to set the security system, then step outside into the bright morning sun. The warmth touches my face, and I smile, not the tight, people-pleasing smile I perfected over years of giving away pieces of myself, but something real and unhurried. The workhorse has been released from her harness. The journey is finally mine.